game off the hook. Off the hook. All right, our next tweet comes from Mark Devin Lau at Luchador Coriano at Kanoa Leahy. Woo, I guess he's referring to the Ric Flair thing. Hashtag BS guys. No, yeah, I'm not, I just don't do that. I'm not just, it's just not a gratuitous. Woo! All right, I'll do it.
Do the strut now.
All right, evidently we're down to that time in the show where we bid you aloha. But first, the people want to know, what are you BS guys up to? Bobby.
Well, not only the shows every morning this week on ESPN 1420, but I'm going to be a busy guy. We have Call the Coach Tuesday night, Pagoda Floating Restaurant with the Ron Gannott. And then it's the football, basketball wraparound, Montana State basketball at the Stan Sheriff Center, football against Fresno State on Saturday night at Aloha Stadium, then back to the Stan Sheriff Center where they'll take on Coastal Carolina on Sunday. Busy week, and I'm loving it.
Here, have some of my coffee, too.
I got some Red Bull in here. You can go with that, too. All right, what about you, Robbie?
KHON2 News at 6, 9, and 10. Myself and Sam Spangler in the KHON2 Sports Department. And also on Thursday, 9:30, it's Cover 2 Hawaii High School Football Weekly. We get you ready for the state semifinals in Division 1 and Division 2.
All right, I got Let's Talk Sports with myself and my buddy Jordan Helly on Maui's ESPN. And then I'm with you, Bobby. It's Rainbow Warrior basketball time, season opening via the 51st Rainbow Classic. So very excited about that coming up this weekend. If you're not doing anything this week, take the time to tell us what you think. Just remember, hashtag BS guys, or drop us an email by clicking contact us at ocsports.tv. Thank you to former head coach Riley Wallace. Great job of that interview, Bobby. Also, one of the all-timers, Kavika Hallams. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with us. And a reminder, check out OC Sports Enhanced on channels 15 and 1015, or go to ocsports.tv and you can watch some of the interesting stuff that we talk about that was too long to be included in the edited version of the show. We'll be back for another edition next Monday, whether you like it or not. But seriously, Bobby C, Robbie D, me, what's not to like? See you then, everybody.
Start seeing zero in all your purchases with a Bank of Hawaii American Express card or Visa credit card with My Banco Rewards. Pay 0% on purchases for 18 months and then up to 16.98% variable APR. Plus, earn 10,000 bonus points when you spend $1,000. So start seeing zero in your purchases. Apply at BOH.com or any branch today. Bank of Hawaii. That's my bank.
I'd never really played American football until I came to Hawaii. I wasn't really used to the training that we did here. It was a lot more explosive stuff. And we were doing power cleaning, tried to stand up and drop my hip, kind of pop.
First thing I saw on the MRI was a labral tear, and he definitely has that.
We could try something like PRP.
It was a relatively new way to fix those kind of injuries.
With the ultrasound, you can actually see the PRP injection going directly to the injured area.
Working with Straub, I played my whole season pain-free. We ended up setting records in the whole nation.
When you make it, when you reach the top, join an exclusive country club, acquire exotic automobiles, fill a garage, engage in investment banking, be a venture capitalist. Then when it's all said and done, head to a steakhouse. Your steakhouse.
It's anything but traditional. A double portion of juicy marinated steak loaded with toppings and grilled to go. The new Boss Wraps, only at Taco Bell.
Inside Access on OC Sports is sponsored by Straub.
Beckett first and 10 from the 15-yard line. Beckett going deep. Beckett complete. And this will be 85 yards. Aaron Croyswell, his third touchdown of the season. UH Football Week 1, under the leadership of interim head coach Chris Naiole, made team pride important, brought out a new sense of hope and acceptance that change could be good. It almost worked.
Well, Coach Naiole, he's a great motivator, and he's also a great coach. Someone that we definitely have a lot of respect for, and obviously, he demands a lot. He doesn't ask it, he demands it, and that's definitely what, we had a good week of practice, obviously, we had a good week, but at the end of the day, you got to come and perform on game day.
How did it go in the locker room before his first game? What did he do? Did he try to get you guys all, fired up?
Yeah, definitely he did. He had a very good pregame speech to get us going, and then he just told us pretty much go out there and win, play. You're not coming out here to lose. I mean, we didn't come just to get beat up. You know, we came to win. And that's what he told us pretty much before the game.
Less than 1 week after Norm Chow was dismissed, Rainbow Warriors tried to rally. I hope you're all having a pleasant evening. I'm Robert Kikaula. Welcome to Inside Access here at OC Sports. Ikaika Woolsey, he replaced Max Whittick at quarterback. Paul Harris, he caught his second wind at running back. But both sides of the ball, offense and defense, a lot of post-game talk was about chunk plays. Now, sure, they're welcomed when Hawaii had the ball. Not so much when the Rebels were fighting for their cause. Hawaii puts the heat on the quarterback, and the quarterback drops a dime. Devontae Boyd over the top against Nick Nelson. Gone.
We got to keep reaching for more. We got to, those plays that are there, we got to make them. The playmakers, the plays that are designed to go to certain people have to be made. I mean, tackles cannot be missed. We got to wrap up. I mean, receivers got to catch. I mean, everybody has to be doing something more because we got to go out there and get it. I mean, I'm not folding by any means on this season. I'm still playing hard the best I can.
We had chances, didn't capitalize on it, so, I mean, we lost again. All we can do is look forward to next week, try to make something happen. That's all.
The loss of 4 yards in the first 2 plays of the game. Ikaika Woolsey into the hands of Dylan Collie and Mr. Dependable. 15 catches over the last 3 games for 179 yards. The freshman from El Dorado Hills, California, in and out of his hands.
One of the most frustrating things knowing that, we left points out there. But obviously, me being a leader, I take full responsibility for that. I got to be able to be a good leader, execute for my guys, and, I can't turn the ball over or, take sacks. Obviously, the running game was working tonight. We got some pretty good catches on the outside. Frustrating thing is knowing that, we left a lot of plays out there, knowing that, the game would have been a lot closer.
Some things never change. Turnovers can kill you. UH had 3 of them. Both teams 3 of 13 on third down. Time of possession, not as lopsided, about 36 minutes to 24 in favor of UNLV. We got a lot to talk about. This is Inside Access here at OC.
Start seeing 0 in all your purchases with a Bank of Hawaii American Express card or Visa credit card with My Banco Rewards. Pay 0% on purchases for 18 months and then up to 16.98% variable APR. Plus, earn 10,000 bonus points when you spend $1,000. So start seeing 0 in your purchases. Apply at BOH.com or any branch today. Bank of Hawaii. That's my bank.
At Supercuts, we pay attention to every detail. The cut, the lines, the finish. So you'll feel sharp, clean, and ready to go. And the moment you're not feeling ready, pop right back in, and we'll get you ready to go again.
I think we responded very well to the task at hand. I mean, the coach being fired and then Coach Nally becoming the new head coach. It was tough, but I think it was good for us. I mean, we really responded to what Coach Nally wanted to do throughout the week and how we traveled. So I think we did a good job handling that situation.
Everyday practice was great. I felt like we had great tempo, made sure we got done, things done that we had to get done. Just performance-wise, we just couldn't come up with nothing in the game.
Final score on the 9th island, UNLV defeating Hawaii 41-21, the final score at 27-21. Were you guys thinking the same thing I was thinking? Welcome to Inside Access. I'm Robert Kikaula, Nady Lawa, Stephen Tsai, Rich Miano. Were you thinking 27-21, this could be the night?
Yeah, and I thought, to that point they had some mistakes, but they were kind of getting things together. As the game wore on. But it's one of those things. I just don't think, they have it in them to be finishing games at the moment.
Were you thinking the same thing? This could be the night Hawaii rallies in response?
I think so, but then you're playing UNLV games, so I thought it was going to be a close finish either way, because that's always what happens when these two teams face each other.
I know you were.
Yeah, well, because I thought the preparation was good. what Chris Naioli was doing with the new captains, all the disciplinary thing. I knew he'd give a great speech, fire these guys up. So you saw the spark early and often. But Chris Naioli, Don Bailey, they can't catch the football. So the execution wasn't there, Robert, but there was the intention, everything else. But again, you have to execute.
Speaking of interim head coach Chris Naioli, what do you guys think of it? His first go-around as the head man?
Oh, I thought it was good. You know, he looked the part. A lot of the pregame stuff. He's out there talking with Coach Sanchez as well. You know, obviously he's going to win any kind of fight with any kind of coach. You know, he can intimidate another coach. You know, you look at him. So it was just one of those things where, you know, he fits the part, it looks like.
Steven?
You know what I like about him? He was so prepared. He actually called up officials to find out how to talk to officials, which I mean, that's such a detailed guy, and I thought that was really good. And you know, we've had so many cookie cutter coaches. I think it's so nice to get someone a little refreshing. Maybe he should run. He's different.
Sometimes tough love is good love, and he gave these kids some tough love.
No question, but at the same time, I think he understands. One is they respect him, so he can be real positive with those guys, but he'll also break you down if you don't do the right thing. So I think every young person is looking for discipline, and this is the guy that you're not going to mess with, Robert. And I like the way he managed the game. There were some calls. The use of timeouts I thought was good, and there were some calls where do you punt, do you kick a field goal, do you go for it on fourth down? When they went for it on fourth down, Dylan Collie dropped the ball. Good call, good scheme, but the execution.
That's the one thing I talked to him about afterwards. As a head coach, you had to make quick, decisive decisions. Both of them were on fourth down. Collie dropped the first one. Late in the game, 4th and 1, go for it again with the heavy package. I thought we were great, quick, decisive decisions.
Yeah, and those are the type of things that come with, you know, the head coaching job. And, you know, just to reiterate what Rich is saying, you know, the execution of it, you know, the drop pass and then getting stuff. Those are the type of things, you know, as a player, you know, you need to take care of. You know, that's your part of the thing. Coaches are there to set you up, get you in those situations, and you got to come through.
One of the first things Naioli did when being named head coach was change the quarterback. Hawaii went with Ikaika Woolsey over Max Whittick. Ikaika's numbers, 16 of 33, 187 yards. Did throw an interception, but the coach liked that he managed the game well. It's marked at the 34-yard line. Ikaika Woolsey to throw. Ikaika Woolsey in and out of the wide open hands of Dylan Collie.
I've never been the one to be a yellow type, you know, a yelling type of person. You know, obviously, you know, you drop a pass or you know you miss a block, you made a mistake. So the last thing you want is, you know, one of your leaders or just someone else, you know, yelling at you. You know, obviously, you know, I know I don't do well from, you know, getting yelled at and stuff like that. So, you know, I try to be encouraging and just, you know, tell them that next play, you know, you don't win one game. I mean, you don't want to play on one game. So obviously, you know, the receivers are making play, you know, all year. So I'm not gonna sit there and yell at him. You know, just gotta encourage him, tell him, you know, right back at you. You know, one snap and clear.
I think that's the new, more mature Ikaika Woolsey. When he was being the guy to show some love to Dakota Torres after you dropped it and have him calm down, that's the sign the kid's grown up.
We've seen the maturation. Remember that first spring game where he got thrown out for...
the spring game?
Yeah, spring game for picking a fight with a defensive lineman who sacked him. And he's really changed. He's really become, you're right, a better, more mature guy and a really pretty good teammate.
And that's a start. If you're going to be a quarterback, you have to be the leader, you got to be a decision maker, and you cannot be immature.
Have to be the hardest worker.
Yep.
And I agree with all that positive stuff because he's not perfect, and he was quoted as saying, we all make mistakes. Be positive, stay focused, be the hardest working guy on that team. And his maturation not only goes to mentally, but physically. He keeps his eyes downfield when he scrambles. And take away put those drops as catches, moves the ball, keeps momentum. Big play guys like Dakota Torres dropping that ball, that's a chunk yardage play. His numbers passing-wise are much better. I think he did manage the game. And he can't catch the ball, he can only throw it.
Nate, you're starting to coach, you've been coaching at the high school level. Kid rushes for 190 yards, but has 2 critical fumbles. Does that take you from an A+ outing to C- outing?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and it's one of those things where it was great to see, which is but him finally getting over those yard marks and things like that. But, you know, the costly fumbles, you know, one was closer into the red zone area. And those things kill drives and kills momentum and his confidence as well. Because I thought he could have had easily a 250-yard game, you know, with some of the other runs that he had. And if he just carried onto the ball, the offense can actually get more yards out of it too. So It goes from, I rushed 190, but then you got to think, oh, I coughed it up twice.
Coughed it up twice. We're talking about
Naioli said that the difference between physical, you think, okay, those are physical errors. So are those more forgiving? He says no. Physical and mental errors are the same thing.
Same thing. We're talking about the running back. Hawaii's Paul Harris carried 20 times for 190 yards, had a touchdown, had a 72-yard run, but he did have 2 fumbles. 7:12 left in the first half. Hawaii gives right side. Paul Harris to the 50. Paul Harris, touchdown, Hawaii. I know you guys lost, but on a personal note, that's got to feel good.
I mean, yeah, but I'd rather have 0 stats and W. It's more about the team than me, So I'd rather the team have a W versus me having great stats.
So that touchdown run was for 34 yards. He attacked the line of scrimmage. I think that's a difference.
No question. Physical. Nate has been talking about it all year long. He's not going east and west. He's not, he had the ability this time. And give the offensive line credit. I thought they did a great job of creating holes, him running north and south. And when nothing is there, he can get to the perimeter and he has enough speed. And so he is a good back. He just needs to continue to be coached and, most importantly, hold on to the football. 5 points of pressure, Nate.
Yep, exactly.
Sound like coaches over here. You talked to Paul Harris afterwards?
Yeah, and I felt bad for him because he was carrying the load. There's one drive where he had all but 1 yard of the touchdown, and Mel Davis got the touchdown. But that goes back to his unselfishness. He didn't seem to let it bother him. But, hey, that's like the guy puts all that money in the slot machine, leaves, and the other guy hits the jackpot. I felt sorry. He did all the work and didn't get the credit.
It sounds like you've gone through that before.
I'm just reliving this past weekend.
We got more.
And no, I was not the jackpot guy.
I was the next guy.
We got more inside access when we come back. We'll talk Rainbow Warrior defense.
Protecting your kids is a natural part of being a parent. But preparing them to succeed in the world, that takes ohana. Chevron is committed to doing our part. In the last 10 years, we've invested over $1 million in educational and athletic programs in Hawaii, helping thousands of students develop the problem-solving and critical thinking skills they need to lead.
Inside Access on OC Sports is sponsored by Strong.
So on 3rd and 1, they get the Luzi. Right side. Boom. Melvin Davis. There were a few moments, not for just Paul Harris, but for Melvin Davis, 2 touchdowns rushing as well. There were moments in this game where momentum, the changeup, the switch, was there for the taking. Lance Williams early causes a fumble, recovers the fumble right after Hawaii turns it over. Hawaii gets it going. There were many changes of momentum. Can you feel them when you guys are on the sideline?
Yeah, you just mentioned one, but what about when Jelani Tavai tips the ball, Jalen Rogers intercepts the ball, they're in 4-down territory, and they don't score. That is the 4 or 5 big plays that you talked about. One, I just talked about another one. That's why you don't win football games.
Too many. Did you feel momentum changes and there are opportunities to reach out and grab them?
I think so, but they just got to pounce. It's just the finishing seems to be a problem with this team. They do make stops, they do make adjustments, and then they get beaten on big plays, and then they seem to drop their heads.
Is there any substance to playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win?
I think there is. I mean, me personally, I was raised on the fact I was more afraid to lose. I couldn't show up the next day at school, whether it was Pop Warner and all the kids are getting on me about it. But, I mean, that was just me. I mean, these guys need to step it up. And, I mean, the past 3 years, they haven't had much success. But if you really want it, if that's what you're really about, you got to do more. You can't just do the minimum. You got to do more.
There's one point in the game, and I hate to say it was a badly officiated game because it wasn't, but there was one that still has me going, huh?
It was bad on both sides.
So Hawaii now, they got Kawuzi back to throw. They got Kawuzi in traffic, and they're calling him down, but he didn't get the football off to Melvin Davis. You complete, I don't know what the heck pass that was complete to Melvin Davis, but you guys came a yard short of keeping that thing going, didn't you?
Yeah, obviously, I hold on to the ball a little bit longer than I should have, but, Melvin's he's a good back. He was where he was supposed to be, and I know I had to get it out there. Obviously I had one guy on me, but, it is what it is. Got to get that throw out there no matter what.
So here's my question. In the grasp, there's no such rule in college football.
I think the referees, the officials, get confused by the NFL's in the grasp rules. There's 241 different rules in college football, and that's one of them. There's no in the grasp. That was a bad call. And there were others, Robert. You say it was a good officiated game because it was balanced bad on both sides.
Back and forth.
Well, I might be dyslexic visually, but not audibly. And I saw the pass, and then you hear the whistle.
Yeah, that's what we tried to show you.
Yes.
The whistle blew after Woolsey got rid of the football. So even if you're of the belief there's in the grasp, the play was still alive. Send a tape into the office, so be it. Stuck defense. Hawaii versus UNLV. Maybe it's me, but from what we saw at the beginning of this season, and it could be playing Ohio State, could be playing Wisconsin, you beat up, but it could be, maybe it's me. I'm expecting better at this point from what we saw against Colorado, from what we saw even against Ohio State through 3 quarters. Am I wrong?
No, and Wisconsin. So when you look at the season in a snapshot, they were very good defensively. You see right here a couple of good plays and good hit, good clean hit, even though the helmet comes up. But Robert, you're right. The last 2 games, over 500 yards a game. And the chunk plays, the pass defense was rated 19th in the country coming into this game. They've done a great job of not giving up big passes, but not this game. But at the same time, that may happen, but you got to stop the run. And that's where I think the problem lies, tackling.
Stevie, did you expect better defensively over the last 2 or 3 weeks?
I think so, but you're right. They've been beat up, and they don't have all their personnel in there, and some of the guys that you expect to be there. I mean, you're talking about some guys who weren't even really on the depth chart. Mefi Kaloa-Matangi having to start. I think he started or played a lot of the game before he got hurt. Just being in it, they just don't have the bodies or the pass rush.
You see that get off?
Yeah, Kennedy Tulimaseli, Gerald Garcia-Williams, and come on now. You're going to get a flag for saying something on a football field? What's the worst thing you ever said? He can't answer that question. Really? Personal foul for talking?
Well, his nickname
I don't know what he
nasty,
said.
so.
I don't know what he had said. I think I had one while I was at UH. We ran an option, and they kept the ball, and the corner just took my legs out. I got in the guy's face and got a penalty, and I got in trouble from Coach Jones. But you never know what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying, but I thought that was kind of weak.
Well, of all the betting,
it was kind of weak.
Do you think it was going to be Kennedy who was going to get the penalty for talking, or someone on the sideline with the big headset?
No, normally, what does Kennedy say? He knocks you down.
And picks you up
and says, you can't block me. Confidence, but is that derogatory? No.
Well, it looked like at the end of that play, somebody had hit him in the back. While he's going away, they fall down, and he probably said, "Oh, brother, try not to hit me in the back because sore," or something like that. But you cannot, in college football, to get a flag for saying something, it better have been some of the nastiest things we have ever heard.
So we've noticed a couple new rules today, right? The in the grass and the talking after.
Yeah, talking after the plays. Julian Jenner after the game about big plays.
They were within the opportunities. They go hit an 85-yard touchdown run, mid-pass. They hit a 75-yard touchdown pass. Do those types of plays just take the air out of this experience here?
I think the explosive plays, they do take a win. I mean, they do take out some of the air out of your sail and stuff, but I mean, I think we responded pretty well. Just we got a little lackadaisical, going boom, they hit us again with another big explosive play, and we can't have that.
Now, there were a couple of running backs, not just one, 2 running backs for the Rebels over 100 yards. The first, Keith Whiteley, the starter, 21 carries, 124 yards, and a touchdown. And the second was this guy right here. There's Lexington Thomas, 17 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown for him as well. They both get into the end zone. And it's not like they're big, blazing running backs. I'm seeing, maybe I'm wrong, I'm seeing missed tackles, missed opportunities by Hawaii.
Well, that long spinning run that they were kind of showing before that was like a 3rd and 20, or it was long, 20 yards.
It was exactly 20.
3rd and 20, and he was able to get that. I mean, it just looked like he wanted it more. And like you're saying, missed tackles, that's a lot of just an effort thing. You know, everybody has opportunities. You can gang tackle. They don't say one person can only tackle. All 11 can go get the guy. So, I mean, as a team, every now and then you see all the tackle for losses they had. it seems like every now and then it'll just be one play out of the 4 drives, and then they'll get a first, and it'll be another.
What did Ron Gould say earlier in the year, the head coach of Cal Davis? One of the best tackling teams he's ever seen. They've regressed in tackling. Some of it's because of what Stevens said. They are playing guys that aren't their starters, and it's no excuses. You got to work on tackling every day. Balance, approach to tackling, wrap up.
We got more, including the interim head coach joins us here in Inside Access after this.
Prime time? Game time goal to McDonald's, baby. I'm here to get the fans, the super fans, in on all the action. First get the food, and Pill, baby, you could win instantly.
I won $50.
Or text the code and watch the game to see if your team is picked. You may win one of the guaranteed $500,000 of weekly prizes. Maybe tickets to Super Bowl 50. So grab your gear and get your butt in here. It's game time gold at Mickey D's.
On the road, through the eyes of Cy.
There we go.
Through Cy. That's
My
a country
favorite part of the show.
That's a country song. Through Cy's eyes. What do you got this week for us?
We got a little different. We mixed it up.
Really?
I did think we did.
And we start with.
Who's
that?
Nate Jackson.
Who's that?
Hiram Peters and Lance Samuseva. Look how much weight Hiram has lost.
That's Nate Jackson.
That's Hiram Peters.
Oh my God.
You
Who do you think it was?
Oh, I knew who it was.
Okay.
It was Hiram Peters.
I knew who it was.
The original Haka man.
Yes.
Who's that? Lady Lawa's friend?
No, but this is the interesting thing. She was working in the concession store, said she's number 4, but she didn't know who number 4 was. I said, Nate Lawa. She says, well, I think is he a handsome guy? I don't know who this is.
Best-selling jersey of all time.
Now, I know that Nate's an attractive guy, but what I did was I pulled up a picture of Leonard, and I showed it to her, and she said, that's an impressive guy. Nate Lawa is good.
Can't go wrong.
No offense, you are an attractive man, but Leonard is a little.
But we have to say, the team hotel, those people were into Hawaii being at the hotel.
Yes.
The workers there. It was awesome. Another picture through Cy's eyes.
Oh, God.
Who's that guy?
The guy on the right is the guy. Interesting thing. He not only was the head scout who decided that they should draft the guy on the left, Rich Miano. He also was influential in getting Marcus Mariota.
Trivia.
Really?
Same thing.
So he's helping the Titans now.
Yes, he is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we got one more picture. Can you name these 5 people?
I can.
I can name 4 of the 5 for sure.
Gary Allen,
Gary Allen, far right.
Jim Donovan.
Wait, far right.
Yes.
Is Gary Allen.
I'm going from right to left.
Okay. Next to
Most
him.
people read in this country.
Jim Donovan. I'm not sure, and Nicky
Darryl
Clark.
Williams.
See, I got
Darryl
4 of the
Williams.
5.
That don't look like Darryl.
Darryl Williams?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Owns a very successful car detailing.
Who's 21?
That's
David
Nicky
Talomo.
Clark's. That was Nicky Clark's number, and they all got together and had a little drive, and they gave.
They drove from LA in a
That
bus.
is awesome. That is awesome to see the alumni show up when this football
One
team
thing that
goes.
wasn't shown, which was kind of interesting, the day of the practice in Sam Boyd Stadium, they found a Hawaiian flag and they raised it, and they practiced under the Hawaiian flag.
That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool.
It was Chris Naioli's flag too.
Yeah, it was a tough week, speaking of Chris Naioli, for the interim head coach of the University of Hawaii football team. He now joins us here on Inside Access. Week 1 done. How was it being head coach?
It was fast and it was furious, from the interview where you saw on Sunday last week's, Sunday night to this week. It was a whole learning process, and I think I handled it well, and I'm just looking forward. I feel more comfortable going into the new week.
Is it me or head coaches don't really coach?
No, it's a lot more. It's a lot more admin than anything else. I go down and meet with Dave Matlin, the AD, usually twice a day. Dealing with all the different departments, and basically just dealing with the kids. They come to you and ask you questions for some advice or whatnot, and they're playing in situation and just dealing with everybody in general.
Some of the kids were talking about they've never seen the inspirational, motivational side of you. You dug deep to Bill McCartney and other guys you played with to get these kids fired up.
Definitely. I've been trying to tell them, what good programs do, and, it's not I sit there by myself and make the rules up. These are the things, I learned as a player, Obviously, Bill McCartney has been an inspiration in my life, and, was a big-time mentor for me. And I kind of want to dig back up on those things and share that with the kids.
Moving forward now, you got 1 week behind you. No more travel. You're at home. It's got to be an easier start to an easier week for you.
Definitely. The travel part's out. Now we just, concentrating on getting these guys fired up. This morning I talked to kids about, don't be afraid to succeed. Don't sit around there and wait for stuff to happen. You got to go out there and make things happen. You got to believe in it, though. And I think that's the biggest key point in where we're at right now.
On the field, you went with Ikaika Woozie at quarterback. You stick with that this week?
Definitely. I think, Ikaika did a good job. I think, he needs help out there. Guys drop balls. He had a bad interception where he probably should have threw the ball away. But other than that, I think he played a good game.
Defense. Because of their early schedule, Wisconsin, Ohio State, are they so beat up on defense that it's a mass unit? It's going to be hard for the last 3 games?
Definitely. We got to dig deep. It's the next man up mentality. I know we gave up 2 big ones over the top real quick, but we're just trying to regroup as a unit, as a team. I think the thing that I did this morning was I held the guys accountable. I had the coordinators get up and kind of go over the film, so both guys can see the films, offense and defense, so they can see each other actually making plays and hold guys accountable for what the actions they put on the field.
Well, good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
You were telling me earlier today, it's about these kids, you got to give more than what you used to give you. You got to want to win, and you got to want to win more than you hate, like winning more than you hate losing. You inspired by what he said?
Oh yeah, that's everything that you're supposed to be programmed. In a program, that's the whole mantra. That's your belief system right there. Is everything that you put on the field, the eye in the sky, all that statement. It's a display of what you've been working on. And when you're losing games, obviously you got work to do. And each week they're trying. Don't get me wrong. I know they're putting an effort in, but there's not just a line where you'll win if you do this much effort. Sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's even more than that. And you have to be able to get there. And they haven't been there, so maybe they're just not used to being there. So
I think what I was trying to say was you got to hate losing more than you like winning.
Yes, you said
Were you
that
inspired by what he said?
I think so. I mean, he relates to them, and I think he sets a really good example. I think they really responded to him. Fortunately, they didn't get the results they wanted, but again, it was physical errors. It wasn't mental errors. They really worked hard to do the things they were told to do.
I don't have to ask you. I know you love the accountability. Show them the good stuff, let everybody see it. Show them the bad stuff, let everybody see it. Peer pressure.
Yeah, and the eye in the sky doesn't lie. And Chris understands that sometimes this game is so departmentalized in terms of defense watches film by themselves, offense watches film. Let everybody see who's playing well. Let everybody see who's not playing well, because there's nothing better than internal pressure. It's all about what your peers think about you is the important thing, because sometimes guys like Steven have no idea. Sometimes the fans have no idea. But the players know who's playing well and who's not.
Through size eyes, never lies.
Yes. I think one of the good things, though, is he let them learn about it on Monday. After the game, he didn't yell at them. He let them be with their families and just have time to cool off. Because what's the good of yelling at them after the game is over? They let them have a couple days.
When Inside Access here on OC Sports continues, take a trip to the dark side.
Big Island Candies, the place for Hawaii's finest cookies, chocolates, and confections, is proud to present our Fall 2015 collection. Tasteful and flavorful, our amazing dipped shortbreads, outstanding brownies, delicious chocolates, and more, presented in brilliant packaging that reflects Hawaii's beauty. Also brilliant, our new lemon brownies, satisfying and refreshing. Visit us in Hilo, online at BigIslandCandies.com or at Ala Moana Center, street level near Center Court. At Big Island Candies, fall is flourishing.
Welcome back to Inside Access. Time for our weekly stroll onto the dark side. The world of fantasy football with our OC Sports fantasy guru, Derek Honma. Marcus Mariota. I had him on my bench.
Super Mariota. I mean, the guy went off. I mean, we got this image. Just a reminder of his good old days. Remember Mariota?
Super Mariota.
Right? But, I mean, the guy went off. I mean, what a game. Coming off the MCL injury, 2 weeks out with Wisenhunt, new offensive coordinator, new type of offense scheme. The whole week we've been hearing about Malarkey tailoring the offense to Mariota's strengths, and he did just that. Mariota looked poised, looked confident, delivering the football. I mean, went off 20-39, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 32 fantasy points, one of the top point scorers of the league. I mean, I really like him, and I like him moving forward, but I don't know if I like him this week. I think I might side with you, Robert, and put him on my bench as well. They're playing the Carolina Panthers, and I think you just got to watch it. But after that, Jacksonville, Oakland, Jacksonville. Juicy matchups. Stardom definitely, I think, in those situations. Let's see how he comes out of Carolina, and let's see if he can keep that offensive rolling. But I think you look at the Steelers for our other studs. D'Angelo Williams, Antonio Brown. D'Angelo Williams stepped in for Le'Veon Bell, 170 rushing yards, 55 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, 36 fantasy points, and Antonio Brown, 17 receptions, 284 yards, no touchdowns. Didn't need any. 28 fantasy points. I mean, Big Ben decided, you know what, I'm just going to throw it to him as much as I can. And he did just that. The big question mark. Big Ben hurt, MCL strain, out a few weeks. We're going to see how that impacts these few guys and the other Steeler, I guess, receivers and running backs moving forward.
It doesn't get much better than that combination of Brown and D'Angelo Williams. Also ugly again. This week, running back, Eddie Lacy.
So bad. We had him on before, and here we go again. I mean, you look at just the numbers. I mean, you look at 5 rushes, 10 yards, 1 fumble, -1 fantasy points. I mean, at this point, you got to put him on the bench. And I think fantasy owners are all in agreement that I think we're hopeful that I think Eddie Lacy will just sit out with this groin injury.
Is it Starks the backup still?
Starks is still the backup, and Starks stepped up big time. I mean, Starks was the guy that you slotted in. I think if they can get out of this whole sharing the load and having Eddie Lacy come in and kind of mixing in with Starks, if Eddie Lacy can just rest and get better, I think we look for Starks to be a solid running back 1 moving forward. And our other dud, we put him on here, but we're spoiled. Rob Gronkowski, I mean, not so good, but overall, I think a guy that you can feel comfortable, starting every week. Just had a bad week. You look at our waiver wire targets, and I think there he is, James Starks, 40% ownership, 39 rushing yards, 83 receiving yards, caught the ball well out of the backfield, looked explosive. And this is a guy that, if you can get off the waiver wire, hopefully you handcuffed him if you had Lacy, but if not, a guy that you got to look on your waiver wire and see if he's available, because if he is, he's a definite RB1 moving forward. And here's a deep sleeper for you, Dorial Green-Beckham. I mean, this guy is a physical beast. I mean, you talk about Megatron, Randy Moss, 9% ownership, targeted 10 times in the game, and we use the word target as kind of a key term. I mean, he's getting targeted a lot by Mariota, and I think moving forward, I think you've seen his play and his percentage of plays increase week after week. And if this guy can get started and Mariota targets him well, this is a guy that might have a big, big second half of the season.
And we do have in store a meme. A meme for this week, starring who?
That's Colin Kaepernick. Available at fathead.com, apparently.
Dude, it's gonna be death stares from the numerous 49er fans here in Hawaii. Surprises, before we let you go. Surprises this week were
Delanie Walker. I mean, I think a lot of people thought that he was going to be a good tight end. Definitely led the Titans in targets, I think, up to this point. But, I mean, look at the numbers. 7 receptions, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, 23 fantasy points. A definite surprise for us. And Sammy Watkins. I mean,
finally,
look at the road, right? Got mad because he didn't get targeted enough. Got hurt. Tyrod Taylor got healthy, came back. I think a lot of Watkins owners left him on the bench because he hasn't been performing, but put up huge numbers. 8 targets, 8 receptions, caught all of his targets. 168 yards, 1 touchdown, 22 fantasy points. The Bills are healthy. Tyrod Taylor's healthy. And if that run game stays solid with LaShawn McCoy and with Carlos Williams, you look at Watkins bringing it open, opening up those deep routes for Watkins. So definitely a guy that you can start low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2.
I got Drew Brees, Marcus Mariota on the same team. Who do I run with this week?
I think you got to go Drew Brees. You got to go Drew Brees. Yeah, I think Mariota against the Panthers, I think you got to start Drew Brees. I think he's looked really good. I mean, that offense looks in sync. His dropbacks look in sync. I mean, it's all timing routes, and he's hitting guys on the mark. So I think Drew Brees keeps it going.
If you're wrong there, that area behind you, I now know where you live, on the dark side. I want to thank Derek Holmgren, talking fantasy football each week here on Inside Access.
Thanks, Robert.
Let's get ready to go. Sponsored by Supercuts.
Up next for Hawaii, Fresno State. They're 2-7, 1-5 in the Mountain West. Their wins over Abilene Christian, and they beat UNLV. Losses to Ole Miss, Utah, San Jose State, the Aztecs, Utah State, Air Force, and Nevada. Tim DeRuyter, good guy, great head coach, 4th season, 28-21, but they're struggling. Bulldogs have been struggling. Are you seeing wins? Are you seeing more struggles for Hawaii this week?
I think it's going to be a close game, actually, because I watched the Nevada-Fresno game, and they are struggling, trying to figure out their quarterback situation and things like that. And I think Hawaii, they can fix some of the things that they had this past game, and I think they should come out Saturday and compete and hopefully win.
Nevada led Fresno State 17-16 at halftime, ended up beating them 30-16, posted a shutout in the second half. Are you seeing Hawaii step up to whatever that next level is for them?
I think so. That was a tired team in Vegas, and I think they've been tired. They're just the accumulated travel and everything. I think it really got to them, and I think now that they're going to be home the last three, get back to their routine, I think they'll be fine. And I think Fresno is struggling because this is DeRuyter's team now. He inherited a team, a very good team. Now we'll see how his recruiting has gone the last 3 years.
So injury-wise, Bulldogs have lost a ton of starters, similar to Hawaii, 2 mass units. This is home. Hawaii's back at Aloha Stadium. And it all starts at home. Are you feeling Hawaii with a good week?
Yeah, and I'm also feeling that this is Fresno's worst team. All the years with Pat Hill, they were pretty competitive. They were pretty competitive last year. That being said, I think Hawaii could win the next 3 games because I think they're at home, the travel's over, they got a new head coach, there's inspiration, there's hope. I'm a Hawaii believer the next 3 weeks.
The power of belief in that locker room. It's going to translate onto the turf.
Execution.
At Aloha Stadium. For Rich Miano, for Stephen Tsai, for Nate Ilawa, I'm Robert Kikawa. For our entire crew, thanks for watching Inside Access here at OC Sports.
Hey, on tonight's episode of But Seriously, we have interviews with former Rainbow Warrior basketball head coach Riley Wallace and former Rainbow Warrior player Kavika Hallams. One of them calls the other a con artist. Any guess as to which way it goes?
More drama than an episode of Scandal.
Bank of Hawaii is proud to sponsor this program. But seriously.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What a show we have for you this evening. We got women's volleyball, we got basketball, including a visit with Riley Wallace and much more. We start, though, in Las Vegas, where the Rainbow Warrior football team fell short in a big way to the Rebels of UNLV. Final score, 41-21. The Rebels rack up 551 total yards of offense. It's the 7th straight loss for the Rainbow Warriors, now 2-8 overall, 0-6 in the Mountain West Conference. Of course, the week after letting go of head coach Norm Chow and with interim coach Chris Naiole at the helm. But it was the mistakes, was it not, guys? 5 drops by University of Hawaii pass catchers. 3 turnovers, 2 of them fumbles by Paul Harris, plus an interception on a flea flicker trickeration play. Bobby, we'll start with you. You called the game on ESPN 1420. It was really a lot of shooting of the foot on the part of the University of Hawaii, was it not?
I like the approach. I mean, even the flea flicker, I love that. But here's the deal. If a flea flicker isn't open, throw it out of bounds. That's something you really can't force. But I like because it stretched the field. I thought a lot of the things they did, some of it, like slotting the tight end, getting him off the line of scrimmage, that's a Don Bailey type thing. So we saw some of that. And when you talk about Paul Harris, Kanoa, and one of the things about that, I mean, he had 190 net yards, right? Fabulous, but again, it's undone with the turnovers.
Not exactly turnovers that led to scores by UNLV, but they still thwart any threat by the University of Hawaii's drives.
Yeah, absolutely. And those mistakes that were made, I mean, they were so costly because it was either the University of Hawaii was moving the ball up the field and they're about to do something with it, or it was at the beginning of a drive where defense had spent so much time trying to keep UNLV from scoring, and then UNLV gives the ball up, and then Hawaii gives it right back, and then the defense then needs to come back onto the field. Though you've been seeing drops all season long and really all for the last 4 years, but I feel like this was the game that they came at the most inopportune times that absolutely derailed any chances that the University of Hawaii had at winning that football game.
And 3 of those drops by the usually sure-handed Dylan Colley. Bobby, it was kind of inexplicable. I mean, we talk so much about coaches and coaching changes and schematics, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to these players making those plays.
Well, Dylan Colley, as you rightly say, is unbelievably reliable. In fact, if you said, okay, you can pick a guy to hang on to 3 balls, I would have picked Dylan Colley. I mean, he is a fabulous receiver. And then those 3 drops, 2 of the 3 were absolutely cool. One of them was 4th down. And then the Dakota Torres drop. That was so tough to take because he had 2 steps. I mean, I don't know if that was going to be a touchdown, but it was going to be deep penetration. Those kinds of mistakes can derail you.
Beyond that, even the Kennedy Tulimaseli'i unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that would have, if it had not been for that penalty, it would have been 4th down late in that 4th quarter for UNLV's offense. It's just, you start to get spiritual about this thing. Like, is there like a higher power at play here that's somehow just getting in the way of Hawaii finding success on the field? It's really crazy. Now, one of the storylines this week was how would the Rainbow Warrior offense react to the coaching change? Don Bailey basically given free rein by interim head coach Chris Naiole. Would that help this offense gain some traction? 370 total yards. Ikaika Woolsey, 16 of 33 at the quarterback spot for 187 yards, did have an interception. But Bobby, did you see any signs of a more wide open or a more Don Bailey-esque controlled offensive scheme?
Well, I said before, I think to some extent he wants to open it up, at least sideline to sideline, and I saw some evidence of that. I think when things get derailed, it can make any coordinator a little gun shy. When you got the flea flicker called, okay, that's a little out of the box, and yet then the throw, and that was one of the poor throws made by Ikaika Woolsey, and I put that on the decision-making part because the receiver's not, as Isaiah Bernard, not open. I think that one you got to put in the stands.
I thought there was some sequential play calling as far as I think Paul Harris had the day he had or the evening he had because of the way Don Bailey called that game. I think, if you went to a slant, you went to the outside, and UNLV had to do something to try to make sure that didn't happen again, even on the drops, because UNLV saw that they weren't ready for that, that if Kali had come down with that, if Dakota Torres came down with those catches, that they were not in position. So then as the game moved forward, UNLV started to prepare for that happening again, which opened up Paul Harris. So I think that he called a good game, but I mean, I hate to beat a dead horse, but you go back to, in most cases, you look at a team and